If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with all my latest videos.
Well, welcome back to Life with Gaz, and tonight I'm fishing down here on the Gynn wall. It's a big tide. It's been westerly all day, but it is swinging around to the east tonight. So it's the first time I've got off work and got out to get on the worm and then on the fish. So hopefully, with any luck, I've not missed some. So fingers crossed, let's see how we do tonight.
Well, let's start off with the rigs I'm using tonight. I've got an up and over rig. Now this one's got a size 4.0 hook on it with a long shank. Even though I'm only fishing with worm tonight, it is a very big tide. It's 9.4 meters, so what's going to happen is there's going to be quite a lot of water movement, which is going to give this rig a chance to really stretch out along the bottom, and hopefully that'll do the business. Now like I said, I'm only fishing with worm on both rods tonight. And on the other rod, I'm going to fish a 2-hook flapper rig with a 2.0 hook on the bottom and a 4.0 hook on the top on the other rod. Now it didn't take long tonight to open the account with the first fish. This was on the up and over rig, which I punched out around about 100 yards, and that rig had just been bouncing along the bottom in the early surf in the start of the tide when I picked this bite up. And there he is, my first cod of this autumn period, with that great big fat fresh dug black worm hanging out of his mouth. And as you can see, I'm having a few issues with my headlight tonight as well, so I'm going to go off and buy myself a new one. If anyone's got a good recommendation for a headlight, leave it down in the comments and I'll definitely have a look. A quick measure, he come in at 38 centimeters, which is in size but too small for me, so I sent him back on his way. After that one bite from the cod, it then went quiet out of distance, so I left one rod out there, which was the one with the up and over on it, and then I pulled the other rod in to right down by the foot of the wall, no more than 20 yards out for each cast, and I started producing little rattly bites just down there. And the smallest hooks I had on were the 2.0s down at the bottom of this rod, and as it proved to be, those hooks were too big for whatever fish were they little rattly bites. But as always in fishing, keep striking, eventually you will hook a fish, and that's exactly what happened there. And I managed to pull in my first whiting of the night. And this little guy had taken a 4.0 hook, which wouldn't have been on the bottom because of the angle I had the weight sat at. And when it comes to releasing whiting off the top of the wall, they never seem to do well if you throw them over. So what I tend to do, and I try and do this with as many fish as I can, is I put the grip weight, I put the anchor on the grip weight up through their gill, lower them into the water, and watch a really high percentage of them swim off without an issue. Now this next bite was a proper slack liner. As soon as I seen that rod jump up, I hit into it, and straight away I could feel a fish fighting on the end of it. Now this fish had fight all the way to the end, which for me is always unusual because being a bass, they don't tend to put up too much of a scrap, but this one didn't stick to the rest of the rules the other bass stick to round here. And when I got a quick measure on him, he's the biggest bass I've had this year. Not a monster, not even a PB, but he came in at 44 centimeters and weighed in at £1.10. And not long after that, close into the wall again, I picked up my next fish. After unhooking this little fish, I just thought I'll untangle the line from me weight. Looks like he picked the hook up and then ran round the weight a couple of times just to fix the line into the anchors. And just like the whiting before him, stuck the anchor up through his gills, lowered him down into the water and watched him swim off safely. And as the tide started to slacken, the bites became more and more delicate and the fish became even harder to hook. And I think I must have had about 15 or 20 bites. Each one come up either with the fish just letting go at the surface or no fish on it at all. And when this next one come up, you can see on there he looked like he was a fairly decent sized dab. Now I don't know why, but I've not had many dabs this year. And finally, with all these fish dropping off or letting go at the surface or no fish there at all, I finally managed to set the hook on one and bring it up onto the side. And again, here's another whiting which safely made it back down to the sea after being lowered off the bottom of the anchor weight.
Well, that brings us to an end of a wet but productive night's fishing. Make sure that if you've enjoyed this episode, you hit the subscribe button down here and keep up to date with all the videos I'll be releasing. And also check out my last fishing video there and my fishing playlist up here.